Hey, welcome to the World Warriors of Capcom Cup Player Showcase. I'm Ultra David.
And I'm James Chen. This is the series of videos where we go over all 32 qualifiers of the Capcom Cup. And that event will be taking place in the first weekend of December 5th through 6th at the Sony PlayStation Experience. If you guys don't know what the Capcom Cup is, or want more storylines about the Capcom Pro Tour, you can check that out here on this YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/Capcom Fighters TV. But we're here to talk about the players.
The one we're going to talk about today is Xiao,
aka the Kid from China.
That's right. Xiao is a top player, has been for quite a while. Not just in Street Fighter 4, he has some experience in other games as well. And have you heard the stories about how he got involved in fighting games?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah. He's named Xiao, which means kid in Chinese, basically child.
Yeah.
So the Kid. So he's kind of, he would go to the arcade as this child and he would beat people, and if he lost, his parents would actually chastise him.
Apparently that's what everybody says, and I've never talked with him. I assume it's true.
In true Chinese fashion. Not that I know anything about that.
Yeah.
And so he got himself to be a much stronger fighting game player because, he was, he wanted to be really good.
Right. Well, mission accomplished.
Yeah, no, he's definitely one of the strongest players from China. There's definitely just a small handful of players that have made a name for themselves in China. Xiao kind of at the top of the list of those players right now. And sure enough, he's a very strong player and, very confident. One of the things that I do like about him is that, at one point in time, he was asked to name the best players in the world, and he put himself in that list.
Right, in the top five.
Exactly. And so that shows a lot of confidence, and I like that. Now, I don't know, do you feel like that's justified? Where do you put Xiao?
I wouldn't myself. There are some days where I feel like he's one of the best players in the world. Certainly.
Yeah.
There are also some days where I feel like he struggles a little bit. And it's hard to know which one is going to come up. So when he's on the top of his game, I think he is excellent. I think he has great reactions and great spacing. I love his character choices. I think it's great, the sort of the way he plays on the character select screen. But there are some days where he just isn't there.
Right.
And it's hard to know which one it's gonna be.
Yeah, he really, depending on the day, runs the gamut between just being amazing and then just being a very strong contender.
He's never bad. He's never a bad player, right? It's definitely degrees of how good he is. But some days he's better than others. When it comes to the characters, one thing he's known for is having different characters up his sleeve.
Yes.
In the case of different matchups. And, in Ultra Street Fighter 4, he has mostly gone with Evil Ryu. Evil Ryu, one of the strongest characters, covers a lot of matchups. But there are some matchups that character doesn't cover quite as well. So sometimes we'll see a Sagat, sometimes we'll see a Cammy still. It still happens occasionally. I think that's very smart. I think this is a game that Evil Ryu is a great character to have your base at, but then there are some matchups where there are better choices, and it's good to have the best tools that you can give yourself.
Right. In fact, I don't think we've seen him use the character, but I wouldn't be surprised if, let's say, we get to Capcom Cup and all of a sudden Elena comes out.
I wouldn't be surprised at all.
That's one of the things. I feel like he does have that advantage in that he is able to pick a lot of different characters. In fact, Cammy was his main character in AE 2012, which is why he still busts out the Cammy every once in a while. But like you said, he's mostly gone with Evil Ryu now. And we'll actually see this play out, too, in the match that we're going to analyze here. We're going to see this kind of wheel of counter picks.
Yeah, so. But his Evil Ryu to start out with is very good. He has beaten Daigo, in fact.
Yeah, and it's funny because I feel like he has a winning record versus Daigo in the Evil Ryu mirror.
He might.
He was one of the only people to defeat Daigo. I think he might have been the only person to defeat Daigo at the Master Series in Canada. He won that one 7-6, if I'm not mistaken.
No, I think you're right. You're right.
And I think Daigo basically was perfect except for that one. I think Xiao might have been the only person who had defeated him at Canada.
That sounds right to me.
Yeah, so
I don't remember.
he does have a strong understanding, and like we said, on certain days he can beat Daigo in those situations. So,
yeah, for sure.
yeah. So I mean, just in terms of the year, how has he done in a lot of the events that he's gone into?
You know what? He has been traveling around a lot, and so he's third in points. That's how he is qualified. And you don't get third in points unless you have been traveling a lot and doing well.
Right. Yes.
And doing
Exactly.
Well. So let's talk about starting in 2015. So Can Winter Clash. Well, you mentioned Canada Cup Master Series. He got 6th. Can Winter Clash 2015 7th. Final Round 18 17th. Topanga World League 9th. Southeast Asia Majors 2015 3rd. CEO 2015 7th. Evo 2015 13th overall. A good showing. Sino Duel 5th. Capcom Pro Tour Asia Shanghai qualifier 2nd. Hong Kong Esports CPT Asia qualifier 7th. He won Saigon Cup 1st place. Z Fighting Game Championship 4th. SoCal Regionals 2015. He traveled to the US 3rd overall, and then at the Capcom Pro Tour Asia Finals, he got 7th. So there are a lot of top 8s there.
And I do want to say that in AE 2012 at EVO, I'm pretty sure he made top 8 that year as well.
That sounds right.
Yeah. So, again, just a very capable player. But,
Yes, he got 4th EVO 2012.
Yeah. And he's a strong player, but you can definitely sense a little bit of pause in my voice. And it's because he does have those moments where he just doesn't look particularly strong. He's dropped a lot of combos in crucial moments and such like that. But like I said, there's just something about his perseverance. Like, there's just something about the way that he plays. Like, I feel like he tries really, really hard, and through that effort is where a lot of his success comes from.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's necessarily quite like on that magic level of guys like Daigo or Momochi, but because he's very, very persistent, and like I said, he just plays really hard. Like, I feel like he's an example of a player where hard work is really paying off. So.
I definitely agree with that.
Yeah.
So the match that we're going to check out is from SoCal Regionals when he came to the U.S. Now, as I mentioned, he got 1st place at Sino Duel. We took a look at that match and decided that we probably shouldn't analyze it. So instead, what we're going to look at is a match that we really feel is a good Xiao match. It is against Snake Eyes. Couple of reasons we like this. One, Snake Eyes is great. Xiao wins. The second one is that there is a back and forth of characters.
Yes.
And it's a great match to show how Xiao does have different characters that he can play very well.
So in the situation here, as we mentioned at Canada Cup, I know we mentioned this in the Snake Eyes video, but at Canada Cup, Xiao 7-0'd Snake Eyes.
The Master Series,
In the Master Series, not Canada Cup, you're right, in the Master Series with Sagat.
Yes.
Right? So there was definitely a lot of temptation for Snake Eyes not to go with Zangief. And so it kind of created this little cycle. Now, this is a standard thing if you're used to Super Turbo tournaments and stuff. It's like, first match, whoever wins, kind of wins. Because then it becomes like this counterpick until the person wins. That's kind of the situation that happens here. So the very first match, Xiao goes with Sagat as a counterpick. But then he doesn't do a blind pick. And so Snake Eyes goes to Evil Ryu. And interestingly enough, Snake Eyes wins this first matchup. So Snake Eyes gets the lead. And so what you're kind of expecting now is to have it go Evil Ryu, and then Evil Ryu Zangief, and then Zangief Sagat, and then Sagat Evil Ryu, and then Snake Eyes should come out on top. But, what's interesting, there's one key matchup in the middle where Xiao wins, and it's just an example of how if it's how good he is at a lot of the different characters and how that benefits him a lot.
Let's go to the tape.
That's right. So we're going to get past the first match here just because this is a very long set.
Yes.
So
just for time.
Yeah, interest of time here. So as we mentioned, Xiao has already beaten Snake Eyes. Snake Eyes already beat Xiao in the first match against the Sagat. And so now we have this Evil Ryu mirror match. Now,
Snake Eyes on the left.
I don't have a lot of hopes for Snake Eyes in this match because, as we mentioned, Xiao has beaten Daigo in Evil Ryu.
This is a mirror match. He's very confident, and you can see him moving forward. Lots of great pressure. It's just good ranges. I mean, look at the range on that fireball. Great range to control. Great range to get stuff out of.
Yeah, and he has Snake Eyes, soundly trapped in the corner here, and he just hasn't been able to get out. Wow, that's really good to not uppercut in that situation. Yeah,
just in case.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he had that read that Snake Eyes was going for the Hurricane, but paid off for him. And so here we go. Yep, good confirms on the Evil Ryu.
And then some patience from him.
But same thing again. He has Snake Eyes here in the corner.
Oh, that's such a good jump. What good jump timing.
Yeah.
And does he back off? Oh, he even goes in. So, because before that, he did back off, right? He had, the chip.
Oh,
he had
smart.
Just patience as Snake Eyes got up. So Snake Eyes, I think, got used to that. That was a great mix-up.
Right. So, I mean, here you go, Xiao winning that one pretty soundly. But this is where I felt like the match really kind of began.
Yeah.
Because they're going to go through this wheel of counter picks. But Zangief is not a counter pick to Evil Ryu. Evil Ryu doesn't win the match, but I don't feel like Zangief wins the match. I think it's a pretty even match. It's not a blow-up. Yeah. Right, it's a very even match. So this is kind of where the key to this whole thing comes into play. And so Snake Eyes obviously going to go with Zangief, and now he's going to go up against Xiao. So can Xiao with Evil Ryu take this match from him?
Yeah, and kind of interrupt that circle of counter picks. Right, that's the goal for him right now.
So we're going to see very different. So Xiao obviously played very offensively against Snake Eyes as Evil Ryu. And, although you can play offensively against Zangief, a lot of times it's not a great idea.
Right, yeah. It's better to have good positioning as he does. He's not playing away. He's just playing a good control, mid-range, neutral game.
One of the key things against Zangief is you do not want to get pushed in the corner.
Right.
And so you've already seen Xiao fight for that position. You saw a forward dash there. He's doing a good job kind of fighting for that position.
I love his reactions to things. Just jumping. Getting out of situations other people find themselves in. Great early Dragon Punch.
Yeah. Just in case Snake Eyes wanted to do Ultra 2. And that's where Zangief's going to do the Ultra 2, is at the bottom of your jump.
Right.
Oh, and right there, good reaction from Xiao because that's the Snake Eyes, that low forward whiff SPD. And he scouted that out, and he got the proper whiff punish on there for the round. So not only did he whiff punish it, but he maximized the damage off of it.
Again, very confident in the anti-airs. He's only had allowed a couple of jump-ins.
And that's a key to fighting Zangief, to be able to play this ground game and the air game at the same time. And so beautiful standing roundhouse.
Snake Eyes really trying to look for something, and Xiao is so smart. He's not giving anything to Snake Eyes right now.
He didn't touch a button for a good chunk of time. And that's beautiful because Snake Eyes likes to fish for those little buffer option selects. And so by not touching any buttons, he's just not going to get hit by that.
Right. I love the strong after just in case, because he knows oftentimes Snake Eyes does press buttons there.
So now, dangerous moment now for Xiao because Zangief, obviously, when he has 4 bars, is a very scary character.
Ooh, yes, he is. Yes, he is.
Just like that. But,
that was really nice.
Yeah,
now, a bit of a missed time by Snake, but good stuff from Xiao.
And that should be able to do it here because...
No.
Oh, I thought he was going for a meaty fireball, but I guess not.
Yeah.
Kind of a miscalculation for Xiao.
It's just a mix-up, That's that is an interesting situation. They both have options that can get out of the other ones.
All right, so one of those situations now where it feels like I got this great combo into my Ultra. I got him down to 0 life. I'm just going to chip him out. And Snake Eyes gets out of there. And like I said, this is such a crucial match here that, we often talk about mentality and mental strength. That's a real blow to your mental strength right there. That kind of a round where you're like, I could have won this crucial matchup and I lose it on that.
Oh, did he get him?
Yeah, he did.
Now, there have been very consistent anti-airs from Xiao. And throughout the course of the match, those anti-airs have really been helping out.
And again, just one of those situations now where things might look bleak for him. But Xiao staying in there and staying solid, staying confident, and playing well. And
that was so good.
Yeah, off of the buffer OS stand strong. And he gets the whole hit confirm.
See him on the right there?
Yeah, and sure enough, and he takes it in a very crucial match. He broke the cycle of counterpicking.
Right.
I'm sure Snake Eyes was probably even thinking to himself, as soon as he won that first game, it's like, now we just got to do this.
Exactly.
I'm sure I can beat his evil Ryu. I've beaten lots of evil Ryus before, you know. But here comes Xiao, and Xiao really throws a wrench into that. So now it's really interesting because Xiao is now playing knowing that even if he loses this, he can go to Sagat.
Exactly,
and really cause a lot of problems.
Right, so he can feel a little bit more comfortable right now.
Mm-hmm.
You do notice him, I think, backing up a little bit more so far in this round.
Mm-hmm.
Not quite holding his spots. Well, there's some fight.
You know, obviously he'd like to take it here without having to go to the Sagat. But again, there's just something to know that you have that kind of advantaged situation.
Yeah, I agree.
And so here he is, trapped in the corner, gets himself out. Nice stuff.
Yeah, I really like the forward movement before that crouching medium kick.
Mm-hmm.
And then doesn't take many risks. That's such a good spot on screen. Such a good spot on screen.
And what a nice calculated sweep. He just read Snake Eyes' stand crouch. See that one sweep now has made Snake Eyes. See how Snake Eyes is so
very worried about it.
Less mobile.
Right.
And he got him again with the Ultra 2. So Snake Eyes, I mean, he might potentially, he's just going to come back off of that.
If Xiao does EXDP there, then it works out. But other than that last mix-up there, I really liked a lot of his positioning in that round. This spot on screen is strong against Geef. You're just outside of Geef's button range. You can whiff punish things. You can take just a slight step forward and get crouching medium kick or sweep. You know, it's a lot of power in that spot right there. You can anti-air very well.
Yeah, and you've seen Xiao get 2 sweeps already, and that's not an accident. He has a good read on Snake Eyes' pace.
Right.
You know, he's 2 for 2 on those sweeps, so that's really impressive. Oh, he went for it that time, but Snake Eyes, good distancing from Snake Eyes. So yeah, you can see again, not quite holding the ground as well as he was before.
Right. But again, as you said, he can give up a game here.
Yeah. And another thing I have noticed in Xiao, he does take a lot more of those kind of like just go for it, Hail Mary, uppercut FADCs in situations. So it paid off for him right there.
Yeah. I think you're right about that. At this point, he's just trying to hold that spot on screen again.
Yeah, but I like the fact that he's not hitting any normal buttons.
Oh, you know what? That's a very good idea.
Yeah.
I really like the idea, but just did not pay off as he wanted to. But, you know, look, not all things that don't pay off are bad.
Right. Yeah.
Sometimes things can still have been good decisions. So, you know what? He loses there, but now he can switch over to Sagat. As you said, he 7-0'd Snake Eyes at the Master Series earlier in 2015.
And of course, you know, Snake Eyes, he's obviously practiced this match a lot.
Oh, yeah.
It's one of the ones that he really knows that he has to get good at.
Every Zangief player knows this matchup in and out. And he's had a lot of success against against Sagat. He's even beaten Bonchen, you know, the best Sagat in the world. So, but as we said, 7-0 earlier when they played.
Yeah, but you know, the reason why I point that out though is because it's still not going to be free for Xiao in any means necessary. This is still going to be struggle. So he still has to play a very, very smart game. It's not just because he picks Sagat that he's gonna, you know, he's gonna win.
Of course,
this match.
yeah, of course. At this level where they're both definitely at, you have to know every character you pick, even good matchups.
And see, that's such a good throw in that situation there, because Zangief, Snake Eyes was expecting an uppercut. Everyone's going to expect that, you know, high hitting jump forward kick so that you can't combo and then go for the uppercut. So smart for Xiao to go for the throw instead. Again,
we see a lot of patience from Xiao. A lot of good whiff punishing, just holding a spot on screen. It's not so. In that first game, we saw offense from him, and since then, it's really been a lot of mid-range play, and he's good at that too.
Yeah, he's really brave with fireballs as well. I will say one thing: like he will challenge your EX green hand reaction timing.
Wow, that's very nice.
Yeah, good stuff right there.
And at this point, it's so tough for Zangief to move forward without taking chip damage at least.
But then Snake Eyes.
Well, you're right. There was a challenge.
Yep. And here comes Snake Eyes.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
That, we talked about that mental strength.
Yeah.
That hurts.
That was pretty great. Yeah, it does. I mean, now Snake Eyes is at match point against Xiao Hai. The question is, can he battle back?
Right, a match where you're, quote, supposed to win.
Yes.
That you know you 7-0'd him before, and then he catches you with just this great psychic Ultra 2, but then...
Well, I mean, what a recovery. You know,
yeah, no, this
get
is
better
a great
than
response.
stunning
Yeah.
Geef, having complete control, just totally harassing Geef.
Yeah, oh, that was
I
so
love
nice.
the closing to that.
Yeah. And so just like that, that is how you respond in that situation.
Right.
Because now you've just taken all that doubt and thrown it on to Snake Eyes. Like, Snake Eyes is thinking, wow, it took me this crazy Ultra 2 to win this one, and then he just blew me up.
Mm.
And so now all of a sudden you have the mental advantage. So Xiao Hai now playing very careful, like you said, just picking really good distances on screen.
Yeah, I really like the spot that he uses those EX fireballs. It's hard to react at that range. I mean, pretty much all you can do is just down block.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Didn't take the risk on the Ultra 2.
Mm-hmm. He learned from the Evil Ryu matches.
Yeah. That's a big strength I think that Sagat has in this matchup.
Yeah.
He doesn't need to take Ultra 2 risks
Mm-hmm.
against Geef's Ultra 2, I should say. Just roundhouse anti-air is often good enough.
Yeah.
And you know, I like that he still moved forward there. Ooh.
Yeah, and he's playing so patient, so patient.
There's the roundhouse
yeah,
again.
Exactly.
That button is not an easy one for Geef to deal with, but I like that Xiao Hai put himself in the position where that character matchup is there. As you said, for him to have won that Evil Ryu game just totally changed the whole circle of counter picks and allowed him to take the advantage in the end. That was great.
And the other thing that I noticed too is you saw Xiao Hai's reaction. He just kind of gave that like fist pump or something. That's actually a pretty common kind of thing that you see from Xiao Hai when he wins. There's a lot of clapping or just kind of like yes, or you know, that's what I mean by that kind of perseverance. You know, there's a little bit of that like never say die factor from him, and I really like that factor from him, and I really like that mentality. You know, that he just feels like there's no point at which he can't possibly make a comeback and win.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I really do like that from him.
Yeah. Well, Capcom Cup coming up soon. What do you feel is in his way, if anything?
Man, I mean, we mentioned this already. Just that tendency to kind of go hot and cold, hot and cold.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we should say warm and hot.
Right,
Between
again,
warm
he's
and
never
hot.
bad,
Yeah.
but sometimes not as good as others.
That I just feel like is going to be the biggest obstacle for him. Can he stay hot this whole entire time? He's very capable of beating the best. Like we said,
Yeah.
I think he has a winning record against Daigo in the Evil Ryu mirrors, right? And so he's obviously capable of beating anybody that there is, but then he's also capable of losing to anybody that there is in this event.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
within these 32 players, sure.
I just feel like he has that ability to just blow up any one of those guys and then also get blown up.
Yeah, I do think there is an unpredictability about him that it's gonna be tough to account for. You know, that said, I think that he'll put himself in the best position to win because he'll know going in, we don't know this yet, but he'll know the bracket at that point. He'll know who he has to play against. He'll know which character he'll need to practice up.
Yeah.
And it can be one of those three. Maybe it's even an Elena. I don't think anybody would be too surprised. You know, and he'll put himself in a good position to understand his opponent, to know which characters to go with, in a way that I think he does better than most people. You know, picking exactly what he should be using, and that's a big part of the game.
And that's another thing too that's actually really good is that, you know, for some players, like they have their main character, and every once in a while you'll see they'll lose a match and they sit on the selection screen like, should I go with another character? Because Xiao Hai has this good breadth of really strong characters, I don't feel like he's ever going to be put in that situation where he might have doubted his character selection. You know what I mean? I feel like he kind of knows who he wants to use against which matchups.
I think you're right.
And I think that's also another benefit as well. There's never going to be a point where he's like, am I making the wrong choice?
Right.
You know what I mean? So he's definitely positioned himself to give himself the best chance possible.
Agreed. Well, we'll see how he does.
That's right.
That's going to be at the Capcom Cup, which is the weekend of December 5th through 6th at the PlayStation Experience in San Francisco, California. I recommend you go. It sounds pretty great. But if you can't go, then of course it will be streamed live at twitch.tv/Capcom Fighters.
That's right. And, definitely follow them on Twitter as well, twitter.com/Capcom Fighters. And just to make sure that you're up to date on all the information, they've been announcing a lot of the news about it, about schedules, formats, and such like that. So you can keep track of all of that on Twitter.
Okay, and if you like to talk about fighting games all in depth I suggest checking our stuff out, which you can find at twitch.tv/UltraChenTV and youtube.com/UltraChenTV.
That's right. We have not only just in-depth analysis stuff, we have a lot of good videos for beginners as well. Every Tuesday we kind of do a what's going on in the FGC week, video. So if you'd like to keep track of what's going on in the fighting game community, check it out every Tuesday night.
Alrighty. Well, for now, we will see you at Capcom Cup.